Hello, hello. Hey, how are you? This is Dr. Carla Michelle. And if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, I dropped something today that I wanted to come on the podcast, the Strong Network podcast, and encourage you. As wherever you are in your life, whatever you're thinking, whatever clarity you need, I want to share what I have been tapping into to support me in my continuation in doing the things that I need to do to stay in the place and the mindset that I need to stay. And I say that word continue because there's so many times that we stop. We stop because it gets rough. We stop because we can't see the good things that we're doing paying off. So we stop. And the goal in our life, when we're looking for change, when we're looking for a come up, it is when we see those changes, when we see the come up, when we see the breakthroughs or the breakouts, it is because of the work that we've been putting in. The work, not only am I talking about physical work, but the mental work, the emotional buy-in into what you see in your life, where you see your life going, what you want in your life. We all have some types of aspirations, whether it's financial, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional. There is some goals, some drivers, some milestones that we are looking to accomplish, whether it's even in your business and seeing it grow. I'm in a space right now where I am moving out of the nest. I've had an office for the last 5-6 years. And if you listen to some of my episodes, I've talked on that of just how it worked out and how someone invited me in to share a space and then handed it over to me a year later. And I was petrified of that change, of that movement, of that ownership, of that all being on me. So, just because we own a business, just because we do things, just because we take leaps, it's something about taking that leap. And then it's another thing about when you're flying in the air and realizing you took the leap and what that all means. And that's where I'm taking another leap. And I would have to be honest, my nest was shaken. I was talking to my family member, my aunt, last night, and when I mentioned nest, she was calling to check on me, which I appreciate. And I was going to say, how many of you out there appreciate those who check in on you? Even, you could be wherever you are in life. It's always good to know that someone's thinking about you and then they're on it. They're like on point of what you're thinking about. But I use the word nest, and it's not a forced move. It is a shaking of my comfortability, my sameness, that I have a choice. I have a choice right now. When the leases are coming up, I have a choice to sign, or I have a choice to not sign and to do something else, to do something wider, to expect more from myself, and not just settle into something that, yes, this was part of my journey, my goal. I wanted a corner office, right? Yet, when has it, the things that we've believed in, when has it been enough? And I have found that it is when, one, I already knew this was coming, that I was going to need to make a decision, not because of them, not because of the people who own the building, but because of, is this where I need to be right now? Not because business is not doing well, not because I'm forced into. I want to say that even though we can have forced situations, when you're comfortable, I think the shaking is even more like, wait, we good, And that's when you have to wake up. Even I feel at this moment, I could change in a couple of episodes, but when you are asking for expansion and growth, and you're asking to experience the wholeness of all you are and all that you can have and all that aligns with that next, then that's when you say, okay, I am asking, I'm expecting, I've been believing. Then the shaking comes, and it's up to you if you move or not. It is. It's up to you to know and to be convinced that what you asked for is now before you. Door A or door B. So I chose to not stay. And to not stay means, well, I have an office full of furniture. I have things that I have double of from the office in my home, so there's that, But then I was thinking like, wow, that's just a small thing to the bigger thing that's coming, to the wider, vaster, stronger, amazing, dynamic thing that is in store on the other side of making this move. So yesterday I went to my office and I'm starting to remove stuff from the walls and, seeing, and I took pictures last week of the the furniture and the things that I have inside, and, what am I going to do with this? How do I move forward with this in the sense of, is it selling it? Is it put it in storage? Is it whatever it is, you think it out. And I'm so grateful. I stood there as I was taking my strong, I don't know, it's like a big sticker you can put on your wall, and strong, strategic, talented, resilient, optimistic, necessary, global. And I stopped at necessary and global. And it hits differently when you're about to make a different move that is necessary so you can go global, so you can go bigger. Necessary. It's necessary so I can go bigger. So what in your life is necessary so you can go bigger? What is in your life that is necessary so you can go bigger? And as we think about that, as we journal or maybe ask that question in our quiet time, that we see what is necessary to go to the thing that I see I want. What is necessary? So I am, for me, living out my own methodology about strong. Strong is not shown with just being still and being comfortable. It's having a strategy, using my talents, being resilient, being optimistic, knowing I am necessary so I can expand. This is ever evolving. So yesterday, talking a lot about yesterday, because I took some time just to be quiet. Not on the phone a lot, just being quiet, not answering emails, just being quiet. And in that quietness, and in that somewhat stillness, because the stillness came in my mind, the quietness came in quieting everything that was around me and quieting all the voices ain't not many voices, the voice of overthinking, doubting, fear, the unknown, and just realizing more and more of, I need to just be at peace with this. Be at peace with, it is my decision. It is my desire. And the beautiful thing is, I've been there for a little bit, and they were kind enough to extend, hey, what about this? Some offers that were very tempting to prolong my stay there. Really working with me. And I say that's such favor that they're not they're not like, "Oh, good, you're leaving." It is that moment of, hey, well, okay, well, what about, and there's still another opportunity, door A, door B, right? And even in the favor, and even in appreciating it, I still think it's time to move. It's time to go. It's time to expand. It's time to expand the wings and use them in a different way. Now, do I have clarity of all? I have some idea of what's going to happen next. Do I know the steps? No. So this morning, as I was having my personal time, my devotion time, my reading time, I started reading, and I'm reading this book, The Millionaire of Nazareth. I think that's the title, by Ponder is her last name. And she talks about how when Jesus was and the disciples, they needed food for the 5,000, and they had the two fish and the 5 loaves of bread for all these people. Now that was just the men. They didn't count the women or the children. So it was quite a few. And one of the directions that were given was to tell the people to sit in the grass. And when I thought about sitting in the grass, first I'm like, okay, sit. But it was also sitting in the grass and then be quiet and receive. Sitting in the grass, and here I'm like, what's grass mean? I want to know, what's grass mean? What does it mean in the Bible? What does it mean in the dictionary? And grass is a representation, or it symbolizes growth, life, wealth, health, rest. Sit in the rest. Sit in the growth. Sit in the wealth. Sit in the health. Sit in this arena of you are being taken care of. Everything within you and outside of you is okay. And then the be quiet is that silence, that stillness of mental stillness, emotional stillness. Not just physical being still. It's more than that. It's the stopping the thoughts, stopping all those voices, trusting, being sitting, being quiet, sitting in health, wealth, prosperity, wholeness, life, growth, and trusting. Not letting anything come in and doubt the life, the growth, the goodness, and then receiving. So if you go back to that story, that has so much more in it than I think if you are ever interested in reading those stories, they have so much more interest, so much more detail, such a process than we realize. Because in that sitting, it was a place of health, wealth, and wholeness and growth, but it's also a place for you to be quiet and get yourself to really let go of the fears and the doubts that the health, wealth, growth, insight, life is not going to happen to you. So you're sitting and you're quiet, and then you're in a space to receive. The process produces. The process produces. So when I yesterday, not even knowing, not even planning, and I will have to say, my goal every year is to get away. At the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, just get away. Sometimes I've waited as far into February, and just to have some time away to think, to have quietness. If somebody doesn't know me, and I mean like family or something, if I go to a hotel, they don't know me. So they're not talking to me. They're not asking me anything. It's just, there's no pull on me. So going somewhere where there's no pull, where I can sit and I can be quiet and I can work on my thoughts and I can work on my feelings. I can work on my emotions. I can work on my expectations and remind myself where I'm sitting. Because I'm always sitting in the grass. That is my choice to believe that way. It's to work on that being quiet to the things that try to tell me that I'm not sitting in health and wealth and life and growth. Because I don't want that noise to interrupt my receiving what is there for me. It's a process. Sit, quiet, receive. Sit, quiet, receive. Now, I wish I could tell you how long the process takes. Could be a lot of quiet time, and that's okay. And that's okay. It could be a lot of shutting your mouth and not even speaking on what's happening in your life, but allowing you to sit in that green, on that grass, in that growth, in that life, in that expansion, in that health, in that wealth. Giving yourself time to refresh. And I shared this before. One of the remedies that people have spoke of is that if you have jet lag, is to go and walk barefoot in the grass on the earth, and it resets your body. How much more to sit in it, to sit in the reset so that you can receive. So just wanted to stop in and encourage you and support your drive for clarity and insight and wisdom of what your next step is, and to see that it's necessary at times to get out of that comfort zone, and that thing that you've accomplished and that you're very happy that you accomplished, but it's time for the next accomplishment. It's time for that thing that you've even been asking for. You've been asking for more. You've been asking for that and this. You've been asking. Here is door A and door B. And when you don't know which door to pick, sit, be quiet, and get ready to receive. All right. Thanks for listening. This is Dr. Carla Michelle. I would love to hear from you at hello@drcarlainc.com. Also, feel free to leave your comments about this podcast. 5 stars is great. It helps us in the podcast algorithm, and it looks good when people are looking for a podcast to listen to. And if you believe this is a podcast that should be heard, please leave a 5-star rating and share it with someone. Send this podcast to someone who needs this, and maybe who doesn't, that they know someone who does. I know life is not always the simplest to live, but it's times like this in a community of the strong network that we come in to encourage and to enlighten and to make us aware of self-leadership for our own journey. So stay blessed, stay strong, and I will talk to you soon.